West. I'm unofficial. I hope you are all well. It is the Premier League Roundup show with Shaun and hopefully another guest that will be joining us in just a second. Hope you're all well in the chat. Shaun, how are you?
I'm really good, mate. For a Blue Monday, it's not too bad. Not too blue.
Indeed, indeed. A weekend of Premier League action that didn't involve Spurs.
It's just getting strange in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just about clinging on to having an interest in it. Do you know what I mean? It's not knowing whether you're coming or going, then it's on, then it's off. And I've even heard whispers that I think we've got Leicester on Wednesday, and that might even struggle to be on. And I think Burnley, they're trying to get that against Watford called off. And it's like,
yeah,
teams playing the system is getting a bit stupid now.
Yeah. What did you make of the decision that Arsenal decided to call your game off just before we get into things? Because they got one COVID case, they got plenty of injuries, they got a nutcase who got himself sent off, which meant they haven't got any midfielders, which isn't anybody else's fault.
There's two slants at this, really. Very, very weak Premier Leagues a child must have written the rules in primary school at the beginning of the season. I don't know whether they thought COVID had disappeared. They thought, we'll just chuck a casual rule in there. I think the rule is if you've got under 13 outfield players in the goalie, you've got a case to try and get it off. That's weak straight away. That's playing into the hands of anyone that's going to try and work the system. And I think that's what Burnley are doing at the moment. Even though Burnley are a bit cut adrift, they got a tiny squad. Their best players are on the African nations. They've just sold a striker. Do you know what I mean? So they're just paddling now. But with Arsenal, there's two ways of looking at it. They played the system is in the most pathetic way you possibly could. Yeah. I think if you add up what they had out, I think they had one COVID case, the same as Tottenham. I think they had 5 or 6 injuries, which is about the same as Tottenham. But then they've got their usual suspension, which they have every week, because I think they've got the most amount of red cards in the league. They can't keep 10 on the field. They knew since day one they had 4 Africans off to that competition. They loaned 2 out last week, and they've loaned another one out today. So, Arsenal fans, any Arsenal fan has got a brain, are a little bit embarrassed, let's be honest. But no, they've still got to shut the defence up. Oh, it's the league. Everyone else has done it. No one else has done it this pathetic. No one. And the only way of looking at it, the other way of looking at it is, I think that it's been on TalkSport. It just makes Arsenal, they've bottled it and they've run scared of Tottenham, who had key players out as well. I've seen the 2 possible 11s and I thought it was a 50-50 game. But whatever, I don't know. I know the government with the COVID are sort of relaxing how many days you've got isolated now a little bit. After Christmas, I even forgot even if I had to wear a mask in a shop. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of, people have sort of lost interest a little bit in it. So the Premier League, you can't always be miles behind. It has become a joke. And I think Arsenal play Liverpool in this cup this week, don't they? And do you know what I mean? It's a bit embarrassing for the league and Arsenal, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think it is. Let's see who we have in the chat tonight. Good evening, everyone. Gary, hope you are well. Cyber, hope you are well. If the membership link doesn't work, if you just press the join button underneath the video, it should work. Let's see who else is in. James, hope you are well. Pete, Stephen Moha made it. Where's little? Let me click on the comment. That would ape. Stephen Moha made it. Where's little Deck? Well, Deck isn't here, but we've got a bit of Burnley with Dan.
You haven't got a Deck. You've got a different something along the lines of Deck. Rhymes very similar if you say it fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. Dan, how are you?
I'm all right. Steady away. Just life's not been good the last couple of days, but it's great. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I mean, Burnley haven't played since just the start of the year, have they? What's going on?
Burnley's not played since we played you guys. pretty
Really?
much at the turf. Anyway, um, it's
Oh
just
dear.
been. I mean, we played Leeds on the 2nd of January. I suppose it,
Yeah.
it's so messed up to think about when we actually played a game. It's madness. It's going to be one
No,
of
no.
those where everybody else is going to have a fat R at side of the name at end of season, and we're still going to have 6 or 7 games to play.
Oh dear.
Oh,
James says the quadruple is still on. It is indeed. Simon, hope you all will get on to the Chelsea game second. So it's like match of the day this. So get ready, Simon. Get ready. Jesus is Ed Sheeran. I'll substitute. I'll substitute. I mean that name just follows you everywhere, Dan. I mean, there's just no. There's
yeah,
just
it's not
no
getting away
escaping
from
it.
it for some reason.
No, but anyway, it's Dan. It's Dan. Right, Shaun, we'll come to you first. Brighton 1, Palace 1, the most ridiculous derby in the Premier League. What did you make of it?
That was the Friday night game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Palace or Brighton fans asked they didn't call it a derby or something? One of the teams is trying to back away from the nonsense, aren't they? I can't remember which one it is now. But yeah,
We're calling it a derby, so
they should be. It should be your derby, shouldn't it? Palace should be the West Ham derby. That is.
we beat him. That's right, we beat him.
Yeah. The first half it was a strange one with the VAR, wasn't it? Again.
Yeah.
I think both decisions were correct because it was the penalty, wasn't it? And then he hit it straight at the goalie. It was all a bit pathetic. I don't know. I think these two teams. I think I'm probably going to repeat myself every week with these because I think Brighton are a very good side. I think they're 8th or 9th in the league, but
Yeah, it's more like that, yeah.
they've got good players. I just think they're. I know last year they said they could have been higher if they had a goal scorer. They just seem to knock on the door every week, don't they? They just seem they're always knocking. And who have they got this weekend coming up? I'm sure they've got a big one of the top sides this week, is it?
Oh,
And Palace are the same. I think. I don't know. We mention Vieira every week, and
yeah,
I don't know whether not the bubbles burst, but whether just the new manager bump has just fizzled out a very tiny little bit. I watched him in the FA Cup against Millwall, and they didn't turn up first half. Second half, they come out and were too strong. I know Gallagher scored again, didn't he, at the weekend? And I think he's the sort of player that could be up against your Bowen, who's maybe linked to an England call-up. I think those two are sort of... They probably want to play in a similar sort of playmaking role. I think they're both on the edge of the squad. So if you want Bowen to get a call-up every night, I don't know. But if you've got one eye on Conor Gallagher, I think that's sort of going to be the benchmark. I think he was in the last. I think he got a cap, didn't he? I believe, didn't he come on?
Yeah.
So I think that sort of level of players where Bowen will be looking. But Brighton, I don't know. I think we're getting to the stage now where Potter, he's not going to be there forever, is he? But I would like to see what Potter does at a bigger club with maybe a little bit more money to spend. Maybe if Moyes can't get you in the top 4 in the next couple of seasons, you might get above your station and want to change. Who knows?
Oh dear! Now that's gonna unsettle a few cages. But I'll jump off of the Chelsea game. I made sweet and sour chicken in food tech today. Don't be a chicken, Simon. Stay on. Talk about this Chelsea game, because you're well out of the title race now. I think we can both agree with that. I mean, Man City have already got 1 3/4 hands on the trophy, but we'll talk about it. COVID symptoms, but negative. Luckily, there we go. Got Spurs on Sunday. That'll be a good game. I'm sure Shaun is looking forward to that. Potter to Everton. Wow. I don't think he'll downgrade to go to Everton. If I'm being honest with you, no. But let's move on to the next game, and the next game is to you, Dan. Man City 1, Chelsea 0, and as we've just mentioned there, a couple of hands on the Premier League trophy, do you think, for Man City?
Yeah, I think you look at the start of the season, everyone sort of thought Chelsea have got a bit about them where, they could be title contenders this year, and it's just not gone right for them at all. It's just nothing's gelled. They seem to have had 2 or 3 games in a row where it seemed to work, and then it was a case of back to the egos again, and people playing for themselves and not playing for each other. And Man City every year do it though, don't they? I mean, at the moment they're currently on another good run of results. So yeah, I mean, it was one of those games where Man City, to be fair, as much as the scoreline says 1-0, it was an interesting game to watch. It wasn't just boring midfield battle for 90 minutes. But yeah, Man City well on their way to winning the league. You might as well just give them title now.
Yeah.
Pretty much done, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think anyone would oppose, because I think currently Burnley are bottom. I mean, no one really cares about that. And we're in top 4. Spurs are like down a bit with 4 games in hand, but we don't need to worry about them. Man United
That's
are like
it now, Jake.
7th.
I'm not sending you a Valentine's card now. You can sod off.
sorry, Dan. Sorry. Nah. No, I couldn't believe that. I thought you had a good, clear barrier between the relegation zone, and I saw the rest of it. I thought, crush your bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at it as the glass is half empty, not half full.
Right.
It's one of those where you've got to look at it either way. I mean, for me, I do already think we're down.
But to be fair, though, you haven't played much in the last month. You surely must have a few games in hand, surely.
Well, at least 4 or 5. Well, I know we've got 4 games in hand already on Newcastle, and if the game tomorrow gets called off once the Premier League have made a decision, then I'll tell you one thing. What I do think's funny though: Watford fans kicking up a stink because the game's going to get called off. I mean, I'm not being funny. Try having your players staying in a hotel in the town for 2 days and then only finding out 2 hours to kick off that your team's got COVID. I mean, that's even worse.
Go on, get into them, Dan. Come on.
Nah, I'm not going to. They'll get one up on me by saying, "Oh, look, we're already in his head. He's got a bee in his bonnet already." So I'm not going to let him have that.
Yeah, dear. Well, we all know what's going to happen now, Dan. It's going to come to the final day of the season. Chris was going to back one in the back of the net, and they're going to send you down.
It'll be his only goal at season as well.
Written in the stars. Pay me later for that. Futuristic, whatever they call it. Let's take some of your comments. City walk in the league, definitely. Rich Sports, hope you're well. West Ham awful yesterday, terrible performance. 4 out of 10. Yeah, we'll get on to West Ham later on. Ask Shaun about his mate's quote about Leeds.
Oh, I've got a very good friend. He's a Leeds fan. He was telling me that they played like Man City against West Ham. And I was like,
oh my God.
That's what he was telling me.
We were awful.
Apparently all the same triangles, all the same sort of press. But I did watch most of the game, but I wasn't on that at all.
No, neither was I. Cyber Leader, thank you very much for your 179 donation. Doesn't let me get membership. Dan's in the building. There we go, Dan. You just made me 179. Thank you very much.
Happy days.
179 added to the book.
As the saying goes, anti-football football club.
There we go. I'll tell you what, just as a donation, I'll add £1.79 to the Burnley transfer pot. See, because that'll help a lot, won't it, Dan?
That's at least 2 or 3 signings.
For £1.79. Every time I look at Rooney, I see him with a car crash home on that impersonator. So funny. Carol to Burnley. Heard Burnley are looking at Adebayo from Luton. Any truth in that, Dan?
I don't know. The first one to have mentioned it to me, although he's a decent player, so it's hard to do it now. We've mentioned it a few times that you can't just go plucking players from the lower leagues anymore and expect to get yourself a 1 million Jamie Vardy. It's not going to be doable hardly anymore. So you're looking at like $1 mil to $2 mil for just a decent League Two player who's had one good season. So who knows? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people keep screaming about Andy Carroll. Please not. I'd rather have Roy Carroll up front. You guys know all about him, so.
Anyway, let's move on. Shaun, Newcastle 1, Watford 1. An enthralling game, I'm sure.
Well, what's going on? Oh God, it's hard to feel enthusiastic about this game.
I know.
I know. I don't know. the new manager's gone at Newcastle. I think the fans are already moaning. He want the right man. There's no change. I think I read Alan Shearer had a moan. Didn't they have one shot on target at home versus Watford? And then didn't really create anything. I don't know. I just, like you just said, Dan. I think Burnley, probably gonna have 5 games on hand on Newcastle tomorrow. So obviously games in hand aren't points, and I think Newcastle are linked to Tarkowski as well. I think they might be going back to Burnley for him.
We can take him.
What did you make of the lose? How much money did you get for Chris Wood? What did you make?
25 million.
Well, were you bothered? You just said he hadn't scored yet, has he? Or
he's got 3 this season, but for me, it was a case of at first it was like, what? Like really, we're letting him go? Like we spent 15 million on him when he was at Leeds and he was in the Championship, and we were like, and yet we've gained 10 million from a guy who's basically we've turned into a double-figure striker at the bottom end of the table. If anything, he's definitely proven to bag you goals in a lower league team. So I was looking at it thinking, shit, like where do we go from here? And then all of a sudden, you look at the move pretty much straight after where Luca Dean's gone to Aston Villa for 25 million, and you think he's been Everton's best player for like the last 2 or 3 seasons, could easily get like a mega money move. And yet Chris Wood's gone for the same price, and at 30-year-old and only 3 goals, I'm like, we've actually got quite a good deal here.
Ugo, is he? I've been keeping a massive eye on Burnley, who starts with them. Was he starting every week? Was he your main striker?
Yeah.
So I thought he was, but so from the outside a little bit, I know. Didn't they meet the buyout clause? Did they have a 20?
Yeah.
Your board probably had no real option if he meets that. Just from the outside, it looks. I think to a lot of people, if you're selling your only main striker to a direct rival, it doesn't look good, does it?
No, I think the only reason that Newcastle knew that he had a release clause is because when Trippier signed for Newcastle, Chris Wood and Trippier have the same agent.
Oh, right, okay.
So it wouldn't surprise me if the agent had tried touting Chris Wood out. But for Chris Wood to come out and say, I'm in my comfort zone. I'm in my comfort zone. Your comfort zone, mate, it's offside flag. That's your blanket. Offside flag's your blanket. Never not offside.
Did the Burnley fan base have any idea that he had a release clause in his contract of 25 million? No, because like I say, Mark Garlick, the chairman before, who literally will just chuck any manager 10p and expect you to do a big shop at Waitrose with it. He's a nightmare, he were. So, yeah, his fault. Blame lies at his door, because he could have strengthened us over about 3 or 4 years ago and he hasn't. So now the new chairman's got a massive task on his hands, because I'll tell you what, if we go down, the squad we've got are not capable of getting us back up. Yeah, let's take some comments. They need another 6 players. Watford should have won. Missed quite a lot of chances. Cyberlia, thanks for the donation again. Get a better t-shirt, Dan. We'll get that sorted. $4.49 can get you half decent t-shirt up in Burnley, I'm sure, Dan. Sure, my go. Where's Josh? Josh can't do it tonight, but I'm sure we will get Josh back next week, and Dan will be substituted back out again, so we can go and enjoy the Burnley high life. I
won't be watching Burnley highlights, will I? Because there's not much to watch.
No, there's not. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Cornet is Burnley's biggest hope, along with McNeil for me, both top players. Whenever I see that, I just think Cornetto. I don't know why. I mean,
you know, the worrying thing is that at first I was like, oh, it'll be nice to see Cornet playing in AFCON. And now I'm sort of thinking, I hope Ivory Coast do pretty crap here, and then he's back with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to think logically.
Exactly, but to be fair, do you think that Burnley are getting all these games called off because they're waiting for what's his name to come back, so you have a half decent chance?
No, not really. I mean, we've tried to get games, playing every week. We've wanted to play it, and we did against Huddersfield. The assistant manager that took charge of that game said we could have easily called the game off based on injuries and COVID alone. He said our bench were just full of a mix of under 18s and under 23s. He said, so it was just one of those where you can do that in the cup games, can't you? But in the Premier League, you've got a 25-man squad and that's it.
Yeah.
So when you've only trained with 10 players, 10 available first-team players on a Saturday, and you're pretty much trying to hope for everyone to be back by Tuesday, it's a bit of a push. So it's all right. It's all right. We've got a nice comeback game against Arsenal on the weekend. That should be
lovely. Right.
Should be
Anyway,
tasty.
let's get moving because we've got people to see, places to go, and all that. So next game, Wolves 3, Southampton 1. I forgot whose game this is because we've been rambling on for so long. Who wants to take that game?
This is two strange sides, isn't it? Like if you like a little dabble on having a bet on the teams and that, you just don't know who to pick when either of these two play. You don't know which. Southampton could beat anyone on their day. Wolves could hit every shot into the stand, and now again it hits the back of the net. I think Adama Traore sums up Wolves. I think he missed one from about 3 yards 1 minute, and then he beat a player and scored a nice relaxed finish second after. This is the game with the free kick as well, wasn't it? Ward-Prowse.
Yeah,
what a goal!
Yeah,
what a goal!
A lot of teams a bit higher, a lot of fans higher up the league. They always say about Ward-Prowse, he's sort of player that we need. It's just a shame he hasn't got a little bit more in the locker in open play.
Yeah.
Like dead balls are probably got to be the best in the league. I don't think there's any doubt about it at all. Corners, free kicks, direct free kicks. If he just, because they didn't even take him to the Euros in the end, they cut him. He was one of the ones that got cut loose right at the very end, wasn't he? And then even then, I thought, I know he hasn't got enough in the locker from open play, but if you need a weapon in an international tournament with a couple of minutes to go, do you know what I mean? Like we were hanging on against Italy in the Euro final after Southgate decided to try and park the bus. But if we had a free kick in the 88th minute, you want Ward-Prowse on it. Out of any Englishman we've got, you want him taking it. So you could argue that he probably should have took it. I wouldn't surprise me if he can hit a good penalty as well. Does he take the penalties? Probably. Do you know what I mean? You've seen the fiasco we had in the Euros final, but do you know what I mean? I don't know. Get back to the two teams. They're two unpredictable outfits. There's a big chunk of them in all over the Premier League. You don't know what you're going to get half the time. Even with West Ham and fourth, you don't know who's going to turn up. It's a strange old league, and with all this COVID, I know I said it earlier. I'm just about clinging on, having interest in it. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. It's a proper slog, and I think the supporters of most teams, you just don't know what team's going to turn up. Even like an Arsenal, they might beat a Burnley 4-0 at the weekend, and then go and get hammered by Liverpool 5-0 in the cup. It's a strange goings on. But Wolves, you got to get on a very good win. I think again, if you like a little dabble, I've seen that Man City, they've won 12 in a row. And you said earlier, damn, they're right. It's 12 or 13 in a row now. But at the weekend, they're away to Southampton. And if it's going to come to an end, not saying Southampton are going to win, but that's the sort of game where I can see Southampton maybe getting a draw against City there. So
just one comment of the night. Do you want Lukaku? I forgot about that comment, and I'm sure Dan would happily take Lukaku over the Poundland Andy Carroll, whatever his name, Rodriguez up front. Let's
honestly,
go down.
I would happily dig my nana up and shove a pair of boots on her if it means she can get a gate. She's same age.
Oh dear. Kent says he was very good at free kicks and corners, if my memory serves. Mike, hope
the thing is, Ward-Prowse, if he had the caliber of like a Declan Rice, but with that free kick ability, you're talking about probably one of the best midfielders, English midfielders of our era.
Yeah.
Definitely. But let's move on. Next game, another riveting. I'll tell you what, this weekend has had some right crackers. Norwich 2, Everton 1, Dan. Down. So this game is like down at your end of the table, so I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, very strange game. As you said, another one of those games, as what Shaun mentioned, could have gone either way. Everton have been absolutely poor, which, to be fair, being the away side, they've been better away from home at Everton. this season. So you'd have probably, if you were edging your bets, you would have gone probably away from home. But it's clear to see Norwich do not know when the chips are down. And I think if they'd have still stuck with Farker, they'd have lost that game heavily. I think the fact that they've got somebody in Dean Smith that still can sort of install that belief, I think that's what got them over the line. Clearly, Adam Arder has started putting the ball in the back of the net, or Eder Arder, however you want to call him. He's obviously starting to get amongst the goals now because Pukki's clearly not been hit. He's not really hit the form. He's probably up there as one of those one-season wonders when it comes to Premier League strikers like Amiyazaki for Wigan and stuff like that, and Michu at Swansea. But yeah, it was just a strange game because they were 2-0 up pretty quickly, weren't they? As well, it wasn't like it was a case of the game dragged out, and then obviously Everton get a consolation. But yeah, Norwich just one of them sides where everyone's already wrote them off with a big fat R, aren't they? And all of a sudden, Delia's clearly been in a few times and said, "Where are you?" So
let's be having you.
Yeah, so they're clearly they're clearly having they'll take confidence from that into their next game, definitely. And as I say, it's interesting.
Quite frankly, this relegation race is by far not over. There's a good 4 or 5 teams that's in this battle, and there's still going to be many twists and turns left in this. About a month ago, we all thought Norwich and Newcastle were destined to be down. Norwich are picking up a bit of form. They're getting a few points. There's still plenty of twists and turns to go. Not that I'm saying Norwich are going to stay up. I still think they'll go down, but there's still many twists and turns left in this relegation battle. Can't really say as much with the league battle, but it is what it is. Trev Tube, hope you are well. Agent Rafa was finally sprung, I know. Kieran, hope you are. What's the time over in Australia? Give us a time check. What is going on over there? Right then, finally a decent game. Villa 2, United 2. And I can't lie, I absolutely love this football match. When that second Fernandes goal went in, I thought, oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go, game over. And then they score one back. I'm like, right, here we go. Then Coutinho scores, and I'm like, you cannot write this, Shaun.
Yeah, well, it was a sort of a rematch of the FA Cup type, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
And very, very, very similar games. Like, I thought Villa were very, very unlucky in the FA Cup. I thought they were the better side for nearly the whole match. I just think you can't quite put my finger on what's missing with Villa. I think they're on the brink of being a very good side. I think if they can add 2 or 3 more players, they're not far away. And whether Coutinho is it long term, I don't know. Obviously, Digne's a very good bite left back. They've obviously got a bit of money and they're going to back Gerrard. But where do we go? Should we go Villa? Should we go United? Should we slag off United or praise up Villa?
Yeah, slag off United. We always like doing that.
Well, for starters, where's Ronaldo? Is he injured or is it a mystery?
Injured.
Is he injured or? Gonna say he's not about, and you get these little things pop up in the press.
He was sat at home in Ralph's earpiece telling him what to do.
I don't know if he's injured or I think did it come out the other day that he's not happy at a team who finishing 4th or something like that, or I don't know. Yeah. I think it's one of those where you've heard bits and bobs like some players aren't happy trying to fit him into the team and all that rubbish. But with Ralph Rangnick, he looks no different than Ollie, but without the team spirit, which was getting him over the line. Almost. I'm watching him and I can't work out what they're trying to do. I think with United, because since Fergie left, they've got over the line just about with a scattergun approach, just by names, chucking a fortune at it, with no real idea about building a proper team. And with Ollie, I think that's what kept him in the job for 18 months or more. I think just the individual quality here and there, the bit of Fernandes magic here and there like last year. Or Cavani, or Ronaldo, or Pogba. Just that look, there's no team cohesion at all. There hasn't been for ages. But now Ralph's gone in, and it looks even worse to me. I can't. It almost looks like, when you've got. I know he hasn't been there long, but when a team's training day in day out, playing week in week out, you sort of know when you've got a player making a run, don't you? You know the position your teammates are in. You know if you've got an overlap coming. You know where your midfielder's going to be. it's almost like United go on the attack, get the ball, and then they're looking around for someone, a bit like a Sunday league. It's like, I've got the ball, I'm going nowhere, look around, where's the support? And it's just not there. So I know they got 2 goals, Fernandez and that, but again, I thought Villa were unlucky not to get all the points. And I think United go away to Brentford this weekend as well. And I know Brentford's form is a bit in and out, but I don't see them pulling up any trees against them either, against Brentford. They just... I know they've got this Fred and McTominay centre midfield partnership, but Villa were just flown through every single time.
I know.
And you've got Varane, who's meant to be a world-class centre-half, losing players and not paying attention. They just don't look organised. And we laughed at Ollie every week, and he probably shouldn't have been anywhere near the job. But at least they sort of looked like they're playing for each other. This United team, I don't know. I was watching them both games against Villa, and I've got some good mates of Man United fans, and they're just like, they can't even understand what's going on, what formation they're playing. The fans can't even tell. And then they got to try and fit Ronaldo in it, who probably clearly doesn't fit into it. So I don't know. It's a bit mess.
Yeah, I know. Dan, I know you've got to go. Thank you very much for coming on, and we'll catch you soon to catch a bit more, talk about a bit more Burnley.
A bit of Burnley.
Bit of Burnley. See you soon. Cheers, guys.
But no, okay, see you guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There we go. Yeah, I think it's I mean, I'm going up to Old Trafford next weekend thinking if we play our A game, we can easily go up there and take 3 points off of them, because you look at their team and, I mean, their defence looks shaky. I think their midfield is very beatable. And I think Dad said it, I'd rather see Ronaldo play than Cavani, because Ronaldo's lethal in front of goal, but you don't see any work from Ronaldo. No. Cavani does all the work. He's a workhorse as well as he gets those goals. Of course, there's going to be, they've got some individual talent there, but it's just not coming together as a team. I believe if we play our A game and Man United don't play out of their skin, the only thing that's going to stop us picking points up there next week is VAR, I think. But
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, you could well be right. You could well be right. I can't remember if Rashford played in the league game, but in the FA Cup game, he started and played about 70, 80 minutes. And I've never been his biggest fan, to be honest, but he looked like he'd never seen football before in the FA Cup game. He was shocking. Yeah, but it would not. Things with United under Ollie, they could always put in a big performance. I think they beat Man City more than they lost to them under Ollie. But this Ralph team, against Wolves, they were dreadful when they lost 1-0 at home. They just don't look like a team that Ollie had. So it would not be surprising if you got them. If it's a draw, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Put it that way.
Let's take some of your comments. Could be the lowest amount of points needed to stay up. It could well be the quality is not good. 5:30 a.m. hot day coming in Australia. There we go. But there's no chance of staying up. I expect Dan's glad he's gone. We should put in a cheeky £10 million bid for Maxwell Cornet when Burnley get relegated in the summer. The geezer can find the back of the net. He can, and he's a good fullback as well. Certainly. Don't know about easily. I didn't mean we could beat them easily, but I think we've got the potential to beat them. They're a very beatable side, but yeah, we could take the points. Let's hope so. Right, next up on the list, it's our game. West Ham 2, Leeds 3. I'll say my bit first. It weren't great, to be honest with you, but we're going to have these not great days. We've had some very good days this year, and of course, this season, and of course we're going to get some bad days, and this was one of them. We've been winging it for the last couple of weeks, if I'm being honest with you. Last 10 minutes at Palace was dodgy. I think we were lucky to get away with it against Norwich, and Leeds just controlled the game completely, if I'm being honest with you. They looked like the side, doing well, and we looked like the struggling side. We kind of ran out of ideas with Lanzini in the midfield. We missed Souček massively. We missed, of course, Kurt Zuma. Our defence was an absolute shambles. Everything that could have gone wrong for us to Diop went wrong yesterday, which was a shame. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he's a liability, to be honest with you. Shaun, you said you watched most of the game. What did you make of it? I'm sure you watched it with a smile on your face.
Well, obviously I chat to you boys, so I got my West Ham head on. I know Leeds fans as well, so I try and watch it more of like from a pundit perspective, really, so I can sort of give a fair gauge. I think we'll just skip a little bit past the game and go to David Moyes' comments at the end. I don't know what you made of it, because I think he had a little moan about that Norwich game being poked in. Because tell me if I'm wrong, but West Ham are one of the teams that have sort of got away with the COVID a little bit, haven't they? Yeah.
We've about 6 of our players have caught it. Crow, one of our bench midfielders, had it. Fornals has had it. Soufal's had it. One of our youngsters that plays in the first team. Ashby's had it. Who else has had it? Souček's had it. Zuma's had it. So plenty of players have had it. But
you haven't had a game called off for your cases, have you?
No.
You're probably one of a few teams that haven't. And I think Moyes is moaning about having them fitting the Norwich game in, because obviously you've played probably more games than anyone else in the league, I think. Yeah. But I don't know what you made of it. I just thought his comments were a little bit weak, to be honest. I don't know. I would have been the fact that West Ham have cracked on and played all the games. The fact that they've had the opportunity to play all these games. They probably played a few teams a bit like Leeds at the weekend. They're a bit weakened, probably because of COVID and injuries. When West Ham, I know you've had a few injuries, but you've plodded along pretty full strength, I think. Not far off it. I just think his comments are a little bit soft and a bit weak. Do you know what I mean? Blaming that game.
I can see what, because he has had a dig at the sides that have had games called off. I mean, we could have easily put some requests in to have games called off, because we have had games where we've had 3 COVID cases, and Arsenal have set the line now that if you've got 1, you can have a game called off. But I mean, that's no excuse. This has been building up for a while, and we're 17 days into the transfer window, and we haven't even looked like signing anybody, which isn't looking too good. It's typical West Ham. I think to be fair, Liverpool a couple of years ago, when all of their centre-backs were out, had an absolute meltdown. We've coped with it relatively well. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. For the whole of December, pretty much, we had nearly our whole back 4 out. We had Zuma out and Ogbonna out, our 2 starting centre-backs. We had Creswell out, our left-back. We had a mix of all of our right-backs seem to go out at the same time. We coped with it relatively well, but we just need a boost. We need a signing. We need just something to give us a boost. Hopefully the likes of Souček and Zuma coming back at Old Trafford next weekend is going to give us that boost. But we just looked like we were there to play it and almost just get through it, and then we can get back to playing our best with our best players back. It was almost like a not a half-hearted approach, but it was a tired approach at the game, I thought.
Yeah, I think as a whole, I think West Ham as a club, and you've got a lot of West Ham fans listening to me now, so I'll try and word this well. If you look at your past finishes, obviously last year you had a brilliant season, finished 6th. You were great, obviously, but a few teams that you'd expect to finish above you had poor years. But going back over that, you've had like 16th. I looked earlier and written it down: 16th, 10th, 13th, 11th. You finished 7th the wacky year that Leicester won the league, and then 12th. So I don't know where. I know West Ham have got some new owners in between that. You've changed stadiums. I almost wonder where. And to be honest, I listened to some of the other podcast, YouTube videos that go on your page, and that some of them just sound very down and miserable when you're not winning every game, and like a little bit moany. And I just wondering whether you had one season, just one, where you've looked like you're going to challenge for something special. You got Europa League. Do you feel like maybe that you're maybe a bit spoiled that year? I know we all crave it. I know we crave it. You have one little glimpse of the big time, and that's it. You don't drop them back down to 10th and 13th. That will feel like almost like a relegation, a mild one. But you're saying we need a player as a boost. You're now in a place where January's hard to buy you anyway. You're not gonna attract a top player. You're probably not even. Who could you get? It's probably not going to be anyone from this country. You're not going to get. You're probably not going to get. It doesn't seem like you're getting Lingard. It looks like he's running this deal down at United. So you're probably not even going to get anyone of his quality in.
So, I think I think you mentioned about the almost moany fan base, and in the last 2 years we've set the quality that we want to win every game. Of course, that's the mentality that we want to have. But yeah, we lost and we weren't great, but the whole fan base has gone into like we've just been relegated or something. It's just like, oh, just give it a rest. But I'm just going to take some of these comments because we've got to go in 5 minutes. We've got to get the Liverpool game in, so we are just going to take some comments. I agree, Shaun. He was making excuses for some bad performances. Your players must have been ill when they played Leeds. They didn't turn up. Like, look, all he's coming here to do is warm me up. Here we go. Leicester won the league, did they? yes. And to be fair play to you. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant season. Fremis is maybe Moyes is finding himself between a rock and a hard place in the sense that he might have to defend the status quo. Whilst not getting backed by the owners, it's a possibility. We've done well, but too stagnant with transfers when we need to build on what we've achieved. Exactly, bang on. I think the bottom line is, I think we always play well against the big sides. We struggle against the likes of Southampton, Leeds, these type of teams, which there isn't top 4 level. But we always turn up against the likes of United, and I think we will turn up, and especially with the boost of Souček back in midfield, Zuma back in the centre back position. I genuinely think we are going in the right direction. A couple of signings, and I think we're well back on our way again. But you know what? I want West Ham to do well this season and go and smash that top 4. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Leicester, was that even this century? Yeah, it was like 2015 when that was saying. But right, the last game, Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. No Mane, no Salah, no problem for Liverpool.
No. Well, that's what I've seen a few people laughing. No Mane, no Salah, and they're Man United, but they obviously went and proved a lot of people wrong. Obviously, they didn't. Arsenal held them to a 0-0, didn't they, in the cup, and they didn't even look like scoring. Really, Liverpool thought they could have played all day and not scored. Yeah, I think Liverpool. It won't be long. I think they've probably half given up on the title, haven't they? But I think their fans are a bit obsessed with this Champions League anyway. So
I know, yeah.
It won't. We're not far off from the Europe starting again. And I think you might even see, because Liverpool, believe it or not, Liverpool have done well the last year. They haven't got the strongest squad depth. You take a few out and they're playing a few kids, and now obviously one of the young kids broke his leg in the season. I think that was against Leeds. Their squad depth isn't brilliant, not really. So as the season gets closer to the nitty-gritty of the Champions League, I think we could see them even maybe resting a Salah or resting a Mane, especially with them going to the African nations. They're probably I don't know what the schedule is there, but they're probably playing nearly 2 games a week in the African nations. You know what I mean? Yeah. All that flying, they're not going to come. They probably won't come back in peak condition. They're probably going to have to rest them a little bit. So just keep an eye on you. Everyone's got to probably play Liverpool again, but keep an eye on them. Just sort of leaving the odd one out here and there, thinking towards the Champions League. Because I think that's all we. I know one of their old managers said that winning the league was the bread and butter, but I think the Champions League's there. I think we sort of link Liverpool to the Champions League, don't we? It's almost they've got that knack of doing it, and they will go close to doing it. I think, like I said, I think they will prioritise it. Come March, and they'll prioritise it. As for Brentford, I know we ain't got long left. I spoke to Clive for a while. He's usually tells me what big plans they've got. Don't know. I don't really know what to make of Brentford, to be quite honest. Without knowing what their plans are for the future next season, wouldn't surprise me if you see them struggle next year.
Yeah, definitely. Shaun, thank you very much as always, and I will see you next week.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Take it easy. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new around here. I'm now going to jump over to Andy at West Ham Reunited to talk about last night's game. So that's it from us here. Come on, you irons, and we will catch you very, very soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.